Hi guys, and welcome to today's video. Today we are going to be talking about a product that I received in my March BoxyCharm box, or I should say products, and it is the RealHer liquid lipstick and lip liner. Now I've had, I want to say, quite a few requests for this. I wore this lip color in my giveaway video, and I had a lot of people asking what lip color it was. I also had a number of people who know that I tend to do BoxyCharm reviews asking when I was going to get around to reviewing this, and I'm doing it now. Basically, I wanted a chance to use these a number of times in a few combinations so that this wasn't a first impression, it was actually telling you what I think of the product. Now, if you have not watched my giveaway video yet and you are watching this before April 14th, 2017, I would encourage you to go and enter my giveaway. I will put a link to that video in the description bar down below, and you can go and enter and hopefully win the giveaway. As I usually do in my videos, I'm going to be talking about the company, the product. Today I'm going to be doing a wear test through the day of this lipstick, and then I will be giving you my review at the end. If you are interested in just watching the wear test or just skipping to the review, whatever that is, I will have timestamps down below so that you can skip to the part of the video that interests you. So let's start by talking about RealHer. This is not a brand that I had heard of before getting this in my BoxyCharm box. It does seem that they are going on a kick of putting things out in subscription packages right now. I noticed a number of people got these, well, everybody got these, I believe, in their BoxyCharm box. I don't think everybody got the same color that I did. I think some people got a little bit more of a nude color, but everybody got a combination of lip liner and liquid lipstick. I also noticed, I watched some other unboxings on YouTube, and people who get FabFitFun seem to get a whole lip kit, so I think they got both of these plus a lip gloss. And I think there was one other kind of subscription package that also received this. So there's a lot of people who have these products this month if you receive subscription boxes. I thought it was very cute. You don't see it sort of on the outside here, but on the packaging itself, it has little sayings. So mine says, "I am loved" on the lip liner, and "I am a rock star" on the liquid lipstick, which is pretty cool. So what I did was I tested these products for a while before I went and actually looked at their website, and I have to say that I like what they are doing with the brand. I have a few things I could point out that may be suggestions for them. Not that they're watching this, but things that I would suggest that they do. But overall, I was quite impressed. This seems like a young brand. They seem like they are just kind of getting up and going, but they are based on the idea of loving yourself as a woman and not letting sort of beauty and makeup define you, but letting it be part of your ritual with making yourself feel good. And they're also based on philanthropy. So not to make this review about me, but I have been working in nonprofits for the last 15 years or so as a fundraiser. So philanthropy is something that I have been immersed in, something that I know about, something that I care about. And when I see a company that makes that front and center, it's something that I quite like as a brand. I like not only that they talk about being a brand built on philanthropy, but they are very upfront about what they do. So they tell you that they give 20% of their gross profits, which is actually quite generous. So gross is before all of your expenses, so it's actually a larger amount. So 20% of their gross profits go to charity, and it goes specifically to the American Association of University Women. It is an organization that does advocacy, education, research. They've been around for more than 100 years. It specifically focuses on women, and they talk about things like, and research things like equality in the workplace, fair pay, education. So they talk about makeup being an opportunity not to feel bad about yourself, not feel like you're not enough, but instead to think about putting on your makeup as a morning ritual and to imbue that ritual with things that you are telling yourself about how good you are, how individual you are, how worthy you are as a person. I think it's kind of a cool way at looking at the ritual of doing your makeup in the morning, and I do think that self-talk is something that helps us feel better about ourselves, changing the messages that we tell ourselves in our heads. The founder of this company is actually a man, which surprised me, but it talks about how Bill Zhang is his name. He has been in cosmetics for a number of years, but when his daughter was born, he really started thinking about what it was like to raise a woman, to be a woman growing up in today's society and all the messages that are out there. And he is very upfront with being a feminist and really understanding that when he had his own daughter. So it sort of has a picture of him and his daughter and says, this is what a feminist looks like. And he talks about his story and how it brought him to create this brand. I think, once again, that is awesome. I am a feminist. I believe that women are equal. That is what feminism is. All of that to say that I really like what this brand is standing for and what they are trying to do with themselves as a cosmetics company. If you actually start to look at the products they put together, it's a pretty limited product range right now. I do think it's probably something they're going to expand more. I did notice some pictures of things like foundation on their website, but they don't actually sell foundation yet, so it seems like they're in the process of perhaps developing more products. They currently have basically 6 products, and most of them are lip products. And then they also have some basically beauty sponges that they sell and a couple of cream eyeshadow brushes. But in terms of actual makeup products, they sell liquid lipstick, regular lipstick, they sell lip liners, they sell plumping lip gloss, they have shadow palettes that they sell. And that is everything. So it's very lip focused at the moment. One suggestion that I would make to them is I really like all of these different, sayings and everything on the products. It does get a little bit confusing for a couple of reasons. So you look at this and say, okay, is the color of this called I am loved, or is it a different color? Is the color of this I am a rock star? Because it doesn't actually say any other color on here or on the packaging. And when you go in and look at the color selection, so I think they have about 10 colors of the matte liquid lipstick. This is called I am a rock star, but they describe this as a dark mauve or dark pink, and I just don't see this being a dark pink. They also describe this as being plum red wine, which I do think is a better description of these colors, or this color, but I actually find these colors pretty much match. So if you're calling this one dark wine and this one dark mauve or dark pink, I think you need to really look at what the colors are. I also find that the color that this is on my lips is not reflective of what it looks like on the website, although this one is a lot closer. So I think they have a little bit of work to do to make sure that the products line up with what you're expecting if you buy them off the website. Also, in terms of some of the confusing naming, this is called I'm a Rock Star in the liquid lipstick, but there is a plumping lip gloss called I'm a Rock Star that is a very light pink. So I do think they need to think of continuity if they are using these as their names, as continuity between the different products. I also have to say that all of these names I really like. It says like Boss or Girls Rule the World or, I am fierce, like all these things that are, cute but empowering sayings. But then you get to their eyeshadow palettes, and they have 3 eyeshadow palettes. But one of them is named Do Your Squats, which seems completely out of line with all of the other naming in their series. So I would seriously consider rethinking the name of that one product because it seems very focused on shape or telling women what they should do rather than all of the other products, which are very much about, awesomeness and being yourself and all the rest of it. Their products are all cruelty-free, paraben-free, and sulfate-free, so that is good to know about them. And their lip products, at least, are infused with jojoba seed oil, shea butter, and hyaluronic acid, so they do give you some things in there that are moisturizing. Talking about the products, as I mentioned, I have been testing these for a while, and I will give you my full review at the end of this video, but I will tell you that when I first received this in my BoxyCharm box, the first thing I did, of course, was swatch things. So I swatched this on the back of my hand, and I let it dry down, and I went about my day, and I actually didn't wash it off at the end of the night just because I was kind of curious. And I went to bed with it on my hand and woke up the next morning and it had not budged. Like, this stayed. I'm just going to do a couple of swatches here. So that is the liquid lipstick and that is the liner. And you can see the liner it's not the creamiest, but it's pretty creamy and pretty pigmented. And As I mentioned, they are, in my opinion, very much matching products. So the fact that they are described with different colors on the website is a little concerning. I don't know that I would call that dark pink or dark mauve at all. That looks very much like sort of a, well, I wouldn't call it dark pink. It is gorgeous packaging on these products, especially on the liquid lipstick. It's this, you know, black and white plastic square packaging, but it's got the clear plastic here at the end so you can see the product sticking out. It's really nice, and it's got some heft to it. I will say this confused me a little bit at first. It's something for you to know if you have one of these lip liners and you're trying to figure out how on earth to get the tip to move up. You need to sharpen this with an actual sharpener, which seems strange because this is plastic. And because this is such a creamy product, I'm concerned about what it's going to be like to sharpen it if it's going to be a giant mess. You may see a couple of teeth marks on the end here. I was sure that I had to turn this in some way to get the product to move up, and I was trying to turn it, and I went and looked at their website, and you're supposed to sharpen it. These products are, in my opinion, priced pretty well. Your liquid lipsticks are going to be $15 American, and your lip liners are going to be $12.50 American. So to me, that's, you know, drugstore-ish range for these products. I do think this is a beautiful color. When I first got this, I was unsure. I'm not usually a dark lip person, but wearing it in my videos, I've gotten so many comments on it, and actually even wearing this the other day and going to my boyfriend's place, he commented a couple of times on how much he liked my lipstick, which is not something that he usually does at all. I think that is everything I have to say about these products. I'm going to get into showing you how this applies. For the wear test today, I am just going to be wearing the liquid lipstick without the liner because I want to show you what this would be like if you just bought the one product. But at the end of the video, I'll give you some of my thoughts on using these separate and together. And I will get on with the wear test. I feel like I need to comment once again on how beautiful a bottle this is. The squareness of it with the little peek through of the color there at the end, the black and white with, not only does it say I'm a rock star on this side, but it has a little cutout that says RealHer there, and then just their logo on the end again. It's a fairly standard doe foot, the kind that has the little dip in it, and I quite like those. I do find this to be a drier formula, so it not drying, but drier in that it's thinner. It's not creamy. You kind of have to work with it to get it to where you want it to be because it feels like it's thin when you're moving it around. And now I'm going to wait and try to keep my mouth relaxed until it dries. So I've let it dry. I made sure not to purse my lips together while it was drying. There's still a little bit of stickiness around the edges, so I'm going to make sure that I try not to press my lips together too hard while it continues to dry. This isn't a super quick drying one, but once it's dried, it dries down pretty well. There is a little bit of stick throughout the day I found, especially on the edges of my lips, but not as bad as some others. I am now going to get on with my day. It is about 9 a.m. right now. I am having lunch with a friend at 12:30, so we're going to get at least 3.5 hours of wear of this without it having any kind of food that should mess it up. Usually at Vietnamese food, I end up having like some spring rolls and stuff like that, which is probably not the best for this, but then we'll get a chance to see how it reapplies because this is how I live my life and this is how a lipstick needs to perform for me. So I will do a check-in before I have my lunch and I will see you again soon. So I'm just about to go and have lunch. And of course buses are going by. But I just wanted to check in before lunch to show you that it's going strong. I find it smudges a little bit on the outer corners, but color-wise, everything's looking good. So I will check in again after lunch. I'm back from lunch, and as you can see, it did not make it through lunch. And it did not fade in a nice way. It is much darker and patchier on top than it is on the bottom. There's just one rim of color around the bottom. It is not a pretty look right now. What I'm going to do is reapply back over top so we can see how it does being reapplied back on top of itself. It's It's about 1:30 right now. I'm gonna let this dry and then get on with the rest of my day and do a check-in a little bit later. So it is the end of the day and I have been wearing this through the day. It's a little after 5 o'clock. So I would say it's been on for 8 hours, but I did reapply it at 1:30, so it's been reapplied since then. And it's time for me to take it off and get on with having dinner and things like that. So let me tell you my thoughts on the liquid lipstick and the pencil. And I do have some thoughts. As far as the liquid lipstick goes, this is not the best liquid lipstick formula that I've ever used, but it's not the worst either. I would say so far of the ones that I've tried, Ofra is the best. The Tartist one was really good, and then this one. So let me tell you some of the pros and cons. The pros of this is that it applies nicely. It is a thinner formula, so I find there's maybe a touch of patchiness, but not a lot. Nothing you can't fix quite easily just by doing an extra swipe over top of itself. It is not a sticky formula, but there is a little bit of stick. So I will tell you that for about the first 2 hours of the day that you're wearing this for, the inner rim of your lip will feel a bit sticky. There is no stickiness right now. It's something that goes away, but it is there for a little bit of time. I do find that it is not a super drying formula, like some of them are. It doesn't feel like it's sucking the life out of your lips. It does feel a little tight, so it sometimes feels like if you smile really wide, it's going to almost pull apart, but it actually doesn't. It just feels a little tight on your lips, but not super drying. I do not find that this really emphasizes dry skin or lines, at least on my lips, so all of those are really positives. This is really long wearing in a way. You will find that when you take this off, you need a good makeup remover to use it. And I'm not talking micellar water or soap and water or even an oil cleanser. I need to use like a cold cream to get this off because when it sets, it really sets. The final pro I would say is that this is a beautiful color. That's not so much about the formula, but I really like this color in this product. I think it is beautiful. It is not a color I expect it to suit me or I expect it to like, but it has grown on me so much that I am loving this color. If we're going to talk about the cons of it, the biggest con that I found was what you saw after I had lunch. It does not do a good job holding up to food, and things won't. I mean, I was eating a food that was oily and that sort of thing, but I've seen other liquid lipstick formulas that fade in a better way. I mean, you saw how much of a mess that was with patchiness and everything else. It just didn't perform very well through eating. I will also say that one day I wore this, I think I put it on after lunch and wore it basically for like hours and hours and hours and hours without having food to disrupt it. And if you wear it for long enough without, reapplying or taking it off, it does start to crumble. Now that is hours into your day that it does that, but I found that the lower lip tended to fade and the upper lip got really patchy and there were like pieces of it coming off of my lips. For me, myself, it is rare that I'm going to go for, 7 or 8 hours wearing lipstick without having something to eat. So that is not as much of a concern for me. I do find it doesn't really 100% dry down. Well, the corners of your mouth can get a little bit messy. It feels like it doesn't dry down quite as well. And maybe not messy, but I found just at the very end of the day, it is feathering a little bit around the corners of my lips. I will say for a positive that this reapplies beautifully back over itself. I reapplied this after lunch. I didn't take it off before reapplying it, and it is not crumbly, it is not weird, it's not doing anything, it is fine. I did find for about the first half hour after I reapplied, it really felt dry on my lips, but now it's totally fine. It is not feeling dry at this point at all. As far as the lip liner and the liquid lipstick, I have worn it with the lip liner before. I don't find it makes that much of a difference. For me, this isn't something that is bleeding a lot, so it's not like the liner is preventing that. And if anything, I felt like the liner maybe made it not as long wearing as when I used the liquid lipstick without the liner. What I would say though, is that the liner is a formula that is a little bit creamier than some other liners that I've used that are like pencil liners, but not as creamy as a lipstick and still very matte. So the day that I did my giveaway video, I actually just put on the liner all over my lips and filled my lips in and did not use the liquid lipstick. It is dry enough that you can't put your mouth together and like move it around like you would with a lipstick. And it actually is still very long wearing and very transfer proof. Like I was drinking out of a coffee mug and none of it, just with the liner, was getting onto the rim of the mug. So I would almost suggest, if you really liked one of these colors and maybe you're not so much of a liquid lipstick person like me, that you might think about getting the lip liner in the color that you like and using that all over your lips. It still gives you a matte look, it's still quite long wearing, it's still quite transfer proof, and I think it kind of fades in a nicer way. And then once again, there's no problem layering it back up because it's not a liquid lipstick, it's almost more like a hard lipstick. I believe that is everything that I have to say about these products. If you received this in your subscription box this month, and I know a lot of people did, I would love to hear your experience about it. I would love to hear if you're, enjoying it, if you had problems I didn't have, or if you saw benefits that I didn't see. Leave a comment down below. I respond to every comment that I get. If you like this, please consider giving it a thumbs up, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Have a wonderful day. Bye.